Hi, I'm Ruger Aber, the creator and director of MexiSoul Retreats, and I'm going to be creating this video today to discuss how to prepare for an ayahuasca retreat. So we're basically going to be covering 5 ways to prepare before an ayahuasca retreat.
What should I consider regarding medications?
So the first thing, and probably the most important topic we're going to be covering, is medication. So there's basically 3 categories of medications. The first one are things that you may continue taking during the retreat. We suggest going in as natural as possible, but there are certain things, for example, if you are diabetic, that you can continue taking. Those medications are listed on our website, and then I also suggest just sending us a list. When you register, we'll have the medications you're taking, and we can cover those in the phone call we have. But if you're unclear on anything, please either consult the website or shoot me a message, and we'll discuss it and check with the doctor. The second are things that, again, we suggest going in as clean and natural as possible. There are some supplements or even things like marijuana that we strongly suggest you can discontinue the use before the start of the retreat. But the reason for the discontinuing them is more on the side of that it can take longer for the ayahuasca to have an effect. It can blunt the effects of the ayahuasca. And ultimately, if you're going to come to a retreat, you want to come in as clean, as open, and as ready for the medicine as possible. And then the third category is the most important one, is things that actually have a dangerous interaction with ayahuasca. So these are things like SSRIs, benzodiazepines, painkillers, sleeping pills, things like that. And so these things are a requirement to abstain from in order to participate in a retreat. And you can find the policy on the website, and then please go ahead and message me if you have any questions.
What about the diet?
And so the second thing we're going to talk about today is the diet. So the diet can mainly serve 2 purposes. Ayahuasca works on both a physical level and then a mental and spiritual one. So as I said before, you want to come in as clean and natural as possible, and the reason is because ayahuasca works on a physical level. So we suggest no red meat. We suggest the most important things are eliminating processed foods and processed sugars. And the reason for that is because of the physical effects. So if you're coming in and you're not following a diet at all, you're going to have an experience, but you're going to have a very intense physical experience. It's going to be physically uncomfortable, and the cleaner you eat, the more your body is prepared for ayahuasca. So someone that is eating clean and as natural as possible, vegetarian, vegan, or maybe pescatarian, there's typically less of the nausea, less of the physical discomfort. And then the second part of this diet is the mentality. So in general, with coming into a retreat, you want to have a mentality that is conducive to giving something up, sacrifice something, coming in a little bit humble, or giving up something that you normally would eat. And those are the main things to prepare for, and we suggest at least about a week before the retreat starts, before the first ceremony, is following the diet, and then obviously the longer the better. And then during the retreat itself, the food served during the retreat will be aligned with the diet. We serve mostly vegetarian or vegan food with some chicken and fish, and then towards the end, after the medicine, we ease up on the diet a little bit.
How should I prepare mentally?
So just a little bit to expand on the mental preparation, this is the best way I suggest to go into a retreat. So going into it realizing that this might be a difficult process, it might be an uncomfortable one, it might be uncomfortable physically, it might be uncomfortable emotionally, there's probably emotional things that are going to come up, and just accepting that's part of the process. And to also know that there's people who are going to be guiding you and supporting you every step of the way. And then in general, what I suggest is overall the mentality is one of as little expectations as possible, kind of this idea that whatever happens is supposed to happen, and that part of this process is kind of surrendering or giving up control to your own ideas, control to your own resistance. And ways to kind of get you in that mental state before you come. If you can, I would suggest just mindfulness practices. I would kind of eliminate distractions, maybe taking a break from social media or television, and getting in a frame of mind where it's more meditative or journaling or reading or just exercising, yoga, things like that. And that's going to help you get in a mind state that is calmer, less noise, and overall it's just the acceptance that kind of whatever comes up, whatever happens is supposed to happen, and that's going to be part of the process.
What intentions should I bring to the retreat?
So intentions are an interesting question because a lot of places have different theories on this. The way we approach things are that there is a very, very fine line between intentions and expectations. And so what we actually suggest is, for going into the first ceremony, ideally you would like to have, if you do use intentions, that's up to you, we suggest having intentions that are kind of very vague. And oftentimes we actually suggest that maybe for the first ceremony, you don't really go in with intentions. You go in with as little expectations as possible and just being open to the experience of whatever comes up, whatever happens. And we actually suggest that if you do want to have intentions, that you wait until the first ceremony when you start to connect and start to have the experience of the medicine, because then you'll kind of be able to have this almost dialogue with ayahuasca itself where you're able to present some of the intentions. It is perfectly fine to still have intentions. I do it sometimes, but what you don't want to be doing is being attached to the outcome. So it's very important to not be outcome independent, because when you start getting attached to the outcome and deciding how the healing journey looks, that's when people tend to kind of struggle and have this fight with ayahuasca.
What do I need to bring to the retreat, or what should I bring?
So in general, what I usually tell people is that pack as if you were going on a week-long trip that is somewhere in between a very nice hotel and camping. I would suggest bringing clothes that are as comfortable as possible. What to expect as far as where the ceremony space is, I suggest bringing layers. So Mexico is always moderate weather. It never gets too hot, it never gets too cold. During the warmer months, it's mostly shorts, t-shirts, and it's warm enough to use the pool. But even in the warmer months, it can get cold at night, and then that's when the ceremonies take place. And then during the cooler months, even in December, there's often times where you can still use the pool, but the temperature does drop significantly at night because we are at a high elevation. So I suggest bringing warm, comfortable clothes, dressing in layers. Some other things that I recommend bringing a water bottle, even though we offer them and we provide them during the retreat itself. I recommend bringing things that will make you more comfortable: sunscreen, sunglasses, hat. The things that are provided is, we have pillows, sheets, blankets, towels. Pretty much, as far as that goes, all the things that would be offered or provided if you were staying in a hotel on a trip.